Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Join me on Scaling Your Business, where I interview leaders who have actually scaled and successfully sold their businesses so you can learn what to do and what not to do. Subscribe and join us as we go through this amazing journey on scaling your business. Taunya Woods Richardson from Nail the Numbers, founder and CEO, and we've had some amazing conversations. Everything from her journey of what happened in the epiphany moments that she learned through Powerhouse in episode 1 and episode 2. We talked about mindset and getting uncomfortable, what we can do as entrepreneurs to break through false beliefs around money, around numbers. Episode 3 was just incredible. And we talked about scaling the business and what it takes to scale and how you should really look at that. And then I want to talk about exits, because this is a big thing. And like, when do you decide to sell? And I think last episode we talked about this, Taunya, is like people decide too late. Like, right? They're already burnt out and done. And they're like, well, maybe I should consider this.
Yeah.
What has been your experience with companies when they come to that leader, that entrepreneur comes to the end of their journey?
Yeah, I think, every founder has a different motivation for getting out, as we talked about, right? It's about knowing the why at the other end. I can say, just as you had shared, most founders aren't thinking about selling. And these conversations, the fact that you're opening up this dialogue for people to go, oh, wait a minute, I have something that I could sell, right? Assets, cash flow, net profit, processes, people, right? There are assets embedded within your company, but it does take time to get it all figured out, sorted out, so that you're bundling the best product available to be able to put out on the market and get the best price in return. So, it's really about making sure that you've got the runway to be able to do it properly.
I agree. And I think a lot of business owners have their blinders on. Like, they have their head down, they're in the business, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I think I'm going to retire next year. And they take their blinders off. They're like, well, let's get a business valuation. And they're usually shocked that it's not what they think it is. Because we're emotional beings. We have, like I talked about, falling in love with my business, right? We have this emotional tie. We think it's like, well, I put my blood, sweat, and tears. And like, doesn't that count? Where's that on the balance sheet? Blood, sweat, tears. No, not in there. And so, like, gotta get our blinders off as entrepreneurs, right? How do you help entrepreneurs get their blinders off to like have those hard conversations?
Yeah, well, I think it comes back to the planning process, right? So it is really about making sure that they understand their forecast, aka their budget, aka then, right, how that pairs down into their net profit. And then that net profit, like, once they understand how to build that profitability, then it's about showing them how that net profit then goes on to their balance sheet, right? And fuels that category called retained earnings, aka that shareholder equity, right? That we should not be looking at the statements 4 months after year end. We should be looking at the statements every single month. We should be planning for all of the debt repayment, right? So that we can see that go down on the balance sheet, right? Which would mean your equity position would go up. And then it's really about, so it's that whole planning stage. And I do just want to come back to the 3 reasons of profitability, because it's really important. Net profitability, first and foremost, it is what starts to fuel your emergency net in your business, right? Okay. So emergency net, aka retained earnings, it's what allows you to weather economic storms, global pandemics, tariffs, and the vast majority of founders, exactly, right? They don't have it. So we got to get that net profit. We got to get that emergency fund established. The second reason why profitability is so important, and that you should be looking at it month after month after month, is it's an indicator of your ROI. Net profit divided by total revenue shows you what your return on investment has been that month, right? So we need to
say that again for everybody. Needs to hear that again.
Take your net profit and you divide it by your total sales. So if I have a net profit of 2,000 divided by my total sales of 100,000, right? Times 100, I am left with a 2% net profit. That's how we get that number. If founders are doing that every month, they can now go 2% or high interest savings account, 4.5, right? Need to get my game on, need to figure that out. And the third reason, as we talked about, is that purpose, right? Like once you get those numbers established, how can you amplify your purpose? So one other piece that's important here is when we're taking a look at scaling, is once you've established your emergency fund with the business, now you're left with this extra net profit. Now thinking like an investor, not the small business owner, and not the entrepreneur who's able to create a financially viable business. How do you reinvest that net profit to make that money make money? Right?
Yes.
Is it going to be in equipment? Is it going to be in more people? Is it going to be in a pension fund? And why all of this ties in is because it's that exit strategy. When you're planning to exit, you need to know where to invest that money because you might be getting out in 5, right? So does it make sense to build up your asset base, right? It all ties together. All of these pieces come together. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. I forget what the question
was. No, and I love it. And I think one of the things that, with our head down, we miss is it takes 3 to 5 years to sell and transition your business.
Yeah.
You can't wait till you're burned out, ready to exit, or you have no negotiating power. You have no ability to fix or optimize or, to push on your brand or to attract the right buyer. You are already burnt out and you're just going to take anything, right? You are starving and driving down the highway and there's McDonald's, you'll take it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Versus being like, I'm going to plan. I'm going to have, I know from the day that I go, I'm ready to exit my business, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Then I'll be able to exit.
Yeah.
Right?
And to your point, Kate, sorry, it's options, right? Like if you decide, 5 years beforehand that you want to be able to sell, you're just building yourself an exit clause is really what you're doing, right? 5 years, I'm not ready to go yet. That's okay. But to your point too, at least if you start the process, and the process all really starts with getting your numbers organized, because you will not be able to sell a business that doesn't have organized financials in place, right? But the other gift of organized financials is that you can take advantage of opportunities that come your way. Like when COVID hit, you needed to have organized financials to take advantage of all of the grants. Yes. We had so many founders that were financially okay, but took advantage of the grants, invested that money, and actually thrived through the pandemic because they went into the pandemic financially organized. Same thing's happening with tariffs. There are programs out there right now that are offering incentives for business owners to take advantage of free money, interest-free, right? But your financials need to be organized. So there is no downside to actually getting ready to sell your business. There's no downside to getting financially organized. It's just uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, but you're absolutely right. It is literally you are setting yourself up for, you get to pick.
Yeah, pick your adventure. I love it. Yeah.
Choose your adventure. It's not happening to you now. This isn't happening to you. You get to choose. And if you might be like, oh, I want to sell. I'm getting ready, 3 to 5 years. Okay, I'm going to start the process. And in a year, you might get an opportunity that is amazing and blow your mind to sell your business. And a good darn thing, you're ready.
Yes.
Because that opportunity won't knock, right? Yeah. That opportunity won't have knocked if you weren't starting the process. And I think that's where people are missing out. Yeah. People are missing out. And I was super naive. I never wanted to sell.
Me too, Kate. Me too. I was there.
Right? I'm getting with it. Taunya.
Well, and even if we take it back, and it really isn't about selling, it's about, and I know we're talking about selling, but financial management, fiscal stewardship is actually, it's all about owning our value. And I think why so many people avoid it is because they're afraid to own that value. There's a direct correlation there, right? They're staying small. As soon as you start to own your power, getting your numbers in order automatically start to follow suit, right?
Yes.
And then you have options, and selling them is one of those options at the end of that rainbow.
Absolutely. And I think it takes advisors, you know, like yourself and the team that you have built nationally at Nail the Numbers, all of those trainers. It takes like personal wealth management advisors, people to come together and be like, this is how you can optimize. Because at our last episode with Sean Freeman, one of the things he said he would have done differently is he would have built like a holding co and a family trust.
Mm. Yeah.
Right. And
Great
it's like,
points, right? Yeah.
you got to be ready for that stuff. There's a time and point. Like if you're starting out and this is your first year as entrepreneurship, don't build a holding co and family trust. Like, is it not worth it? But there's a certain
Right.
point in your journey where it goes, now it's time.
Yeah.
And to know when you're ready to make those steps, both personally and in the business, it takes people who have done it, who have been there, who understand it, and can advise you. So like,
Yes.
I know that I don't know enough. And I need people like you in my life. I need advisors in my life to slap me up the side of the head sometimes and be like, get it together.
No, it's hugs. It's always done with love, or it should be done with love, because it's I do want to share though, because I can sense, and I too was like this. It can be really frustrating because it seems overwhelming, all of these things, right? And oh my gosh, we're supposed to know about holdcos and family trusts. What I love about a financial plan, even just a plan to start off with, right? Like, I need this for retirement. Let's just go with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I need your basic security, right? I need this for retirement. Need to make sure my family's taken care of. Once you've that, right, you understand your personal numbers, then you build your business budget to show how you can actually achieve that number. That is what tethers you, right?
Yes.
Like, now you've got a tether that you can hold on to, and you've got to stay conscious with that. And then it's step by step by step, you get there. But it is also about surrounding yourself with your financial team and not abdicating that, right? So I love the fact that you brought up advisors, because your financial team should be your bookkeeper, your accountant, your lawyer, and your financial advisor. And once a year at least, you are bringing everybody to the table at the same time and saying, this is my vision. This is what I need to achieve. And then you get them to all duke it out, right? Like the accountant's going, oh, we need to set this up. And the lawyer's going, oh, that's not the right thing. Let's do the hold co over here in the bookie. How are we going to get? So they figure that out. You get to observe. And then, but you've given them the vision. You've given them what you need to accomplish. And then they, just like a board, they're going to figure it out. And then you get the answer instead of you being the middle person, right? Because most founders get conflicting advice. We see it all the time. And then you go nowhere, because it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm trying to do the right thing. My bookkeeper's telling me to do this. My lawyer's telling me to do this. So then we just don't do anything, right? So financial team at the table.
I love that. I love that. You just like blew my mind to like, even before I'm ready to sell, like annually, like rally the people. You're coming to this meeting and I need you to figure it out. Because one of the things I learned in entrepreneurship and growing my company is, it's not how. You don't need to know how, you need to know who.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And like, and I don't need to, and I sometimes feel so lost, and like I'll talk to my financial advisor and I'm like, I don't know, advise me. Like, here's what I want. You just figure out how to get me there. Right. And I'm lucky I have one that I can like absolutely trust completely. And so there is a bit of that, right? Because there's always fear. You're handing your money off to somebody and you're like, well, they're making money off my money. Yeah, but if you were doing it, you wouldn't be doing it that great. And it's the same in business. You're like, your financial advisors in business and the people around you, like, yeah, you got to pay them. And you got to find the right ones because they're going to make you money. Right?
Yes.
But so much time,
I will just say though, that you're the financial advisor in life with your personal finances, they need to see your business as the investment that's a part of your portfolio. So it's the same advisor, right? They're just saying, oh, your mutual funds are performing at 7 minus my fees. So now your mutual funds are performing at 5.5, right? Your ETFs are performing over here, and your business is right now, you're less than 3% on your art. So let's build up that ROI. Your business is a part of your portfolio, and most financial advisors aren't necessarily bringing that in. You want a financial advisor that's going to tie that in together because your business is a part of your portfolio. Yeah, right. So it's the same person, but now, and it's the same thing with your accountant. Your accountant is mitigating taxes for you on the corporate side and the personal side. They should be helping you with the calculations. If you take a dividend, here's what you're going to pay personally. Here's what your business is going to pay. If you take a salary, here's what you're going to pay personally. Here's what your business is going to pay. All of these, we do not, as a business owner, get away from the fact that we've got two entities that first and foremost are actually fueling our personal situation, right? Like the business. Yeah. So it's all intermixed, and that's why it can seem complicated, but it's not. And this is why I love in the work that we do, especially when we start talking about personal budgets, we give founders the tools that advisors will use. So Kate, instead of you saying, you know what, I need you to do what you need to do, you would be able to go to your advisor saying, listen, if we increase this investment by 1.5%, I'd be left with an additional 750,000 over the course of the next 3 years. I need you to get me at 1.5 more, right? And you so either take that off your commission or do what you need to do. But I know what my numbers are, and now I need you to get my investments into numbers that are going to perform. I'll take care of the business to get my business into an investment that's going to do this. So there's a mutual responsibility. Right. And it's not about abdicate. It's like, this is a partnership, and both parties have a responsibility to make those numbers happen. And I shouldn't say both parties, because it's the accountant, the lawyer, the financial advisor, and the bookkeeper. Everyone's working in tandem.
A team of people that you need on board. And it might not even be the same people. So like, I want to point out that there are different skill sets, right? The lawyer that you have that started got you registered for your company is probably not going to be the lawyer who's going to help you exit your company. Okay. It is okay to change up the support team that drives you in the right direction.
Yes. Yes, Kate.
That out.
We just need to know the direction, right? And I think that's what so many founders have forgotten. Our job is to know what direction we want to go into. We steer that ship, and then everybody's there to support us in that vision, in that goal.
100%. I love that. And I think that, and you just got me super excited, because now when I talk to financial planners, I'm going to be like, hey, do you calculate the ROI of an entrepreneur's business into their portfolio? And if they have any people process problems, call me. And if they have any profit problems, you got to talk to Taunya, nail the numbers. And this is how we're going to get you set up to increase that ROI. Boom.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yes. Just like that. Just like that. Absolutely. All the puzzle pieces come together.
All together. Amazing tips. I really, really appreciate you coming on this show, helping to educate. And that's exactly what you and your team of trainers across North America do. They provide training and they provide support services and tools. And I'm excited. Actually, I'm jumping onto your course starting, is it next week, this week?
April 11th. Yeah. The wake up call.
I am so excited for that. I'm going to learn so much more and be so much better for it. So I really appreciate you and your time. And if people want to get a hold of you, it is nailthenumbers.com, correct?
That's it.
Okay, or they can find Taunya on LinkedIn and reach out, because you need to start now, guys. Start now.
Yes, start now.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Taunya.
Thanks, Kate.
Get ready to learn from industry leaders who have scaled and sold their businesses successfully. Learn what to do and what not to do when scaling your business. Don't make unnecessary mistakes when you're scaling your business. Make sure you subscribe to Scale Your Business, and we'll see you next time.